Third Axiom is a new pulse rifle added into Destiny 2, and there's a big comparison here between this and Bygones, a beloved Gambit Pulse Rifle that has been sunset. Today I'm going to look at the weapon, the stats and the god rolls to chase, plus how to get the third Axiom in Destiny 2. And don't forget, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, the third Axiom is a legendary energy arc pulse rifle with an adaptive frame, meaning it has a well-rounded grip. It's reliable and it's sturdy, so looking at the stats, we've got 29 for impact, 54 for range, 60 for stability, 52 for handling, 51 for reload speed. It's a 390 rounds per minute pulse rifle with 36 in the magazine. And the third Axiom can be compared to Last Perdition. It's got the same impact, it's got more range, +9, more stability, +3, more handling, +8, plus a better reload speed at +3. It's got 2 less in the magazine, but it's probably not something you're going to notice with a pulse rifle. It's pretty much better in every way, and if you're looking for an arc energy weapon to use, especially perhaps with the new elemental well mods, then the third Axiom could be a good shout. So looking at the perks and the god rolls to chase, so for PvE, Feeding Frenzy and Rampage would be good. With Feeding Frenzy giving you that better reload speed after a kill, and that increase in damage with Rampage, and that stacks up to 3 times. Killing Wind and Dragonfly will also be another good one for PvE, with Dragonfly creating those elemental damage explosions. For PvP, Zen Moment and Vorpal Weapon would be quite good, as well as Rangefinder and Multi-Kill Clip. It's got a huge amount of perks on this gun, so the combinations are pretty endless. So I got Surplus and Disruption Break. Isn't too bad for PvP, but could pair well with a nice kinetic weapon. So in terms of how to get the third Axiom, to get this one, it's a random drop from the Strike playlist this season. It's very RNG based. You simply get a chance at a drop at the end of strikes or nightfalls. And I was lucky to get 2 to drop for me for some reason. Maybe I stored up my RNG and I was blessed all at once. I got Surplus and 1 for all for the other roll that I got. Well, there are a couple of mods this season on the Bell of Conquest seasonal artifact, and that is going to help you make this a better weapon if you're planning on using it in Nightfalls or Lost Sectors. So we've got Unstoppable Pulse Rifle, and it's definitely worth picking that up if you like using pulse rifles. And the third Axiom is also being compared to the old Bygones, a pulse rifle that used to drop in Gambit. You know, that one was an all-round strong pulse rifle that's good for a wide range of content, whether you enjoy in PvE or PvP, and they are very, very similar. So I have put together a quick build with the third Axiom in mind, and for this one I am focusing on arc damage. So I'm going to be using a Hunter, and for the exotic armour I'm using Raiden Flux. And the main focus of this build is going to be Raiden Flux and the third Axiom. So Raiden Flux is an exotic Hunter chest piece, and looking at the perks, we've got Synapse Junction, so quick successive attacks with the arc staff increase its damage and output and duration, and the main benefit here is Synapse Junction, which I'm going to be using in an arc subclass to extend the duration of the super. And arc is going to be a running theme all throughout this, so with the subclass, the weapons, and it all works with the elemental well mods too. So I'm using Way of the Wind, the bottom tree arc strider. And for the perks on that, we get Disorientating Blow, so you strike an enemy with a melee ability to disorient the target and nearby enemies. You've got Focus Breathing, so sprinting recharges your dodge ability. Combat Meditation, so while critically wounded, melee and grenades recharge dramatically faster. And Lightning Reflexes, so you're harder to kill while dodging. And we're also using Gambler's Dodge, so you dodge to perform a Death Tumble, avoiding enemy attacks, and dodging near enemies fully recharges your melee ability. There's a couple of things here. Striking an enemy with Disorientating Blow is good and pretty powerful in PvE to help confuse the enemies if you're surrounded by red and yellow bars. Focus Breathing is great because sprinting is going to recharge our dodge, and in turn Gambler's Dodge recharges our melee ability. Well, that is the subclass and the armour. Let's have a look at the weapons. So I'm going to be using Traveller's Chosen in my kinetic slot, obviously the third Axiom in the energy slot, and in the power slot I'm using Sub-Zero Salvo. So we've heard about the third Axiom and all the benefits there, but Traveller's Chosen is a great exotic kinetic sidearm from Season of Arrivals, and getting kills with this weapon allows you to generate ability energy, so it's like Demolitionist but on steroids. So I'm going to be using this one with surprise attack in the build for that increase in damage output for sidearms, and Sub-Zero Salvo is the power weapon of choice because of that arc damage. Well, that is the weapons. Let's look at the mods. And I'm using surprise attack, so while charged with light, reloading or readying a sidearm will consume all stacks of charge with light and convert them into stacks of a major damage buff. And they're depleted as you damage combatants with the sidearm, but it does give you a -10 for intellect. I'm using elemental charge, so become charged with light by picking up an elemental well. And to create elemental wells, I'm using elemental armaments. So weapon takedowns with a damage type that matches your subclass element have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. There's about a 10% chance to spawn a well, and that stacks until a well spawns, similar to something like Charge Harvester. And that is why I'm using the arc weapons with the arc subclass, so hopefully those elemental wells will be spawned quite often. And then I'm using the Font of Wisdom, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase to your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. So let's check out some example gameplay for this build. So use the Third Axiom to generate elemental wells, to get charged with light through elemental charge, dish out some supercharged sidearm kills through surprise attack, smash some enemies in the face to disorient them, and dodge to refill your melee, build up some super energy through Font of Wisdom, and then unleash your super, dodge and whack the enemies to extend the super duration through the perks on Raid and Flux. Well, that is an example build with the Third Axiom, but it's up to you. Pick the class, the subclass, and the exotic weapons and armor to make a build of your own, and I'd love to hear what you think of the Third Axiom and the builds that you create down there in the comments. Well, that is it for this guide on how to get the Third Axiom in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you soon.
This might be a strange question, but why a tank on Nessus?
Because the Cabal ain't met a problem that can't be solved by brute force.
You seem to have a familiarity with their, tactical prowess.
I flew sorties against these bastards during the